Right, let's continue. I've at the gates of the dome, or we are already beyond the gates of the dome. We're in the dome. I suppose this whole massive, I don't know, there's probably some kind of generator or power plant is powering the field. And the whole field, the whole thing around, I suppose. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. What happened here? There was no sensation of passing into a different world. This couldn't be a reflection, could it? This is Yasselani? I was prepared for something strange, but this, it's like another world. I don't understand. I have no clue either. Things keep getting stranger and stranger. Doesn't make sense. That tower, was it always there? Obviously not. No, definitely not. Not the wall over there. Material's not something we use in Tural. It's closer to what we saw at the gate of the Golden City, or those mechanical soldiers. Such a massive structure couldn't possibly have been built in so short a time. Then I'm inclined to assume we've been transported to another location, or perhaps... Well, speculation will avail us not. We need to learn more about it before we can draw conclusions. Let's take a look around then. I see a netherite in the distance and there's some structures that look like probably Yasselani, the original city. It seems to be still standing there. Northwest. Probably just follow the tracks, it's gonna be easier. Act speak. Haven't seen anyone so far. I recognize the lay of the land. It's definitely Yasselani, and yet... This place is unnatural, in a way I've never seen before. This place is isolated by the dome, yet the skies are heavy with thunderclouds. They are oversaturated with lighting aspect of tether. That looks like a train station, doesn't it? That must be Yasselani station, where the passengers disembarked. And perhaps we'll find someone to talk to there. Let's go and investigate. The Netherite is of Tural design. It's fallen into total disrepair, almost as if it hasn't been used in decades. Amidst enormous selling structures, we have more familiar sights, like this station. This is a water tower for trains, isn't it? I suppose. Quest is called the Land of Levin. I'm not sure what to make of this. We should look around a bit more. Did a bunch of looking around already. Building is rotting a husk. Has clearly been many years since anyone lived here. Some kind of... The tracks are heavily rusted. It would seem they haven't been tended to for a long while. You'll find a train turntable. The thick layers of rust suggest it hasn't been used in years. Oh. One of the bots. Finished poking around, have you? Let's gather everyone then. I want you all to take a look at this. It's one of the mechanical soldiers, long since broken apparently. But I'd say its presence confirms that it is indeed Zoologia's domain we're in. What about the rest of you? Did you learn anything? So all evidence suggests this is Yasulani Station. Hey, and I have no doubt we're in Yasulani, but I don't understand why these buildings are so run down. They were completed barely a year ago. So it's some kind of time dilation thing. Huh. For new structures to deteriorate and enormous ones to appear in a flash, if I didn't know better, I'd say time flows differently here. Is such a thing even possible? We have encountered this phenomena before, as it so happens. Though it may be difficult to believe, our world is but one of several. In some respects they are similar to one another, but in others wholly different. We call them reflections. Simply put, the rift between dimensions causes time to flow at a different pace in each world. While hours pass in one, years may have come and gone in another. But if this is Yasulani, then we should still be in the source. The flow of time should be synchronized. Apparently not. I'm not sure I follow all this talk of reflections and dimensions. But if Erenville says this is Yassilani, then it must be. Your village is a little further along, right? His village. Erenville. Oh. Yes, it's a short distance to the northwest. Let's head there next then. Rather than talk theory, it's always better to confirm things firsthand. May I be of assistance? It's still functioning. It doesn't seem to be hostile, at least. Perhaps we can ask it some questions. Can you tell us where we are? Unable to confirm credentials, please present citizen identification. Unable to confirm. Okay, he just goes in a loop. Seems it's broken after all. Too strange by half. Let's leave it be and get going. Are those sliding rods? Would you accompany me for a moment? There's something I wish to investigate. Look there, the lighting appears to be drawn to those pole-shaped structures over yonder. The design suggests there's some manner of lighting rod. Let's go and take a closer look. A network of towers. Providing energy, I don't know. That's a cool model. This material appears to be the same as they used in the mechanical soldiers and warships. On closer inspection, it appears to bear fine etchings rather than reminiscent of arcane runes. These, I suspect, they're not merely decorative. I would suppose that it's used to harness lighting as a source of energy. Quite impressive technology. I'll share this observation with Ystola. For a blazing, the dome doesn't appear to interfere with link pearls. Thanks for accompanying me. Let's head to the village and find the others. Let's do that. Archeo Alexandria. I guess the main city will be Alexandria. Let's stay vigilant. Oh, I don't know. This is Erenville's village? No sign of anyone. What in the world? His house?
My home. It's in ruins. But why? What happened here? And where is everyone?
I had a look in a few of the other houses, but they had clearly been abandoned.
Damn it all. None of this makes sense.
Excuse me? Are you looking for someone?
We've seen her into the yellow. This music is kind of reminiscent of the first Final Fantasies, huh?
I apologize for giving you a fright. However, I did have reason to keep to the shadows. Sorolja has told me a great deal about you.
Sorolja?
Greetings, and welcome to the realm of Alexandria. I am Sphene, the Queen of Reason.
I wonder what is written on her medallion there. Interesting.
Queen of Reason?
Sween.
If you are the Queen of Reason, is there perhaps a...
Yes, if you mean to ask if there is a King of Resolve. Sorolja holds that title, and together do we reign.
Then you're both behind the attack on Tuliyollal.
And I doubt you're here to offer us a warm reception.
No, you have it all wrong. I am not come to fight. Sorolja rules alongside me, but that is a matter of expedience. In truth, we are at odds, he and I. It is at considerable risk to myself and my people that I come before you to beg your aid.
Our aid? I'll admit I cannot imagine King Sorolja is keen to share and share alike. But if what you say is true, you're still the Queen.
Indeed. But I was once the sole ruler of Alexandria. Until one day, he appeared, bent on conquest. In my weakness, I feared his power. So I persuaded him to forego violence and strike a bargain. I would remain queen, and he would receive technology that would empower him to achieve even loftier ambitions, along with the knowledge to use it. A gamble, to be sure, but if it might spare my people...
This is what Emmett Silk probably told us about. Civilization on other reflections will surprise you.
If I may, the dome surrounding these lands was erected but recently. How is it he was able to not only invade, but instate a new system of leadership in a mere matter of days?
I've never heard of your realm. And this place is, or at least was, Yassolani. The house I grew up in is still here. But 3 years ago, that tower and these strange contrivances weren't. Nor was our village in ruins. Where did you come from? And what happened to the people who lived here? You must know!
Is that ether flowing in her costume? What is that glowing
I
thing?
realize how confusing this all must be. Truth be told, I don't fully understand it myself. What I can say is that one day, people from your Tuliyollal suddenly appeared here in Alexandria. Or perhaps it was we who found ourselves in Tuliyollal. Until but recently, we were completely unaware of events taking place beyond the barrier surrounding our realm.
Does this not remind you of the Crystal Tower? How after the 8th Umbral Calamity, we devised a means to transport the Spire across time and space from the source unto the First. Granted, this is on a much larger scale, if that is indeed what has happened. Not only the people and structures, but also the surrounding environment. Regardless, the people of Lakeland perceived the arrival of the Crystal Tower much as the Queen describes her own experience. Sudden and inexplicable.
Well then, you appear to have a better grasp of our circumstances than we do. Indeed, more than I dared hope. In
Never
which case,
trust
a closer examination of the effects of this phenomenon
a white
may
princess in
afford us
Final
more
Fantasy games.
insights. Allow me to take you to the outskirts. A number of the Shatona live there as well. Perhaps your acquaintances are among them.
Hold on. If we accept, there's no guarantee we're not walking into a trap.
But if we're to defeat Zorolja, we need to understand how he grew so strong. Besides...
You're right.
Queen Sphene, before we go, Your Majesty, I have to ask, did you really have nothing to do with the attack on Tulihyolol?
She was in the city.
Noble Wook Lamart, shall we dispense with the formalities? I'll not deny the soldiers and airships that attacked your people are products of Alexandria. But it was Zorolja, not we, who fashioned them into weapons of war and laid siege to Tuliolol.
So he alone is to blame.
I don't know about that.
No, I may not have prosecuted this war, but I nevertheless bear responsibility for it.
Perhaps. I know next to nothing about you.
Ask what
Let
he's
alone
collecting.
you've been through.
What they were collecting from the corpses.
So by all means, show us around.
She
I think
probably
we'll
didn't
learn a
see
lot
it
from
happen.
meeting your people.
What are those runes on her outfit?
Wonderful. If you would follow me.
Isn't it a little odd for the queen to be walking about on her lonesome?
Is that concern or suspicion? If things should take a turn for the worse, might I call upon your aid? I jest, of course, but you do strike me as the most capable here.
Rude. That was rude. Where's everyone? I think it goes without saying, but we're not going to trust her just like that, right? Anyway, you look at it, a mysterious girl who appears out of nowhere, proclaiming herself a queen is suspicious. True. True. Never underestimate a small little cute girl that appears to be like a weakling, you know? We gotta learn from Meteon, man. It's gonna be probably Meteon 2.0. Well, having established that we should be wary, we could use more information. So let's head to this place, the outskirts, and see what we can learn, perhaps about XIV as well. XIV. Interesting choice of a name. Hooah. They're growing plants. It's a relief to see the people here as well, at least. The innovations of Alexander are nothing short of extraordinary. Those brick buildings, I've seen their like before, though I cannot remember where. Have you ever seen such strange contraptions? I wonder what this one is used for. A most unusual farm, but the produce appears normal enough. I trust you have similar farming facilities in Tural. They're completely different from ours. I've got no idea what all those machines do. We settled on this approach after some trial and error. The Turali have their own methods of farming, which they wanted to continue employing. But the environment makes it challenging. There's too much rain and not enough light. Thankfully, the use of electro has allowed us to fortify the buildings here, as well as provide what nature cannot. Electro what? Electro-rope. It's a material we use for myriad devices and applications. A topic for another time, perhaps. If you would follow me, we're nearly to the outskirts. Well, there are some folks. Yupikana. Oh, you have an interest in our farmland. I'll tell you anything you want to know. What kind of place is this? This is Yupeyalo, an important part of life here in the outskirts. I work alongside Sheloasi, who runs the place, and we cultivate a variety of vegetables. With the help of electro technology, we make the most of it what the land has to offer, and support those who call this place home. They also grow produce inside Everkey, but it's not the same as the plants originally from Tural. This farmland is mainly used for cultivating Turali vegetables using traditional methods. Oh, you want to know about me? There's not much to tell, but I'm... Yupaikana probably. But I've always had a fondness for growing things, and I've gotten quite good at cooking various types of produce. You can also tell how fresh vegetables are just by looking at them. Okay, I've read that. Honestly, I couldn't ask for a better job. Fresh air, and I get to spend most of my day with this darling Runique. Everyone seems to be set in their roles already. I wonder how exactly many years have passed then. It's fascinating how they combine traditional bricklaying with electro-based engineering, a curious blending of two cultures. I'll admit, I've seen nothing particularly suspicious yet. This is a Tonawautan village, or at least it was, before the dome and these strange contraptions. It's a relief to see the people here are well. Hopefully the same can be said for everyone in Yassulani. It's rather lively. It's rather lively settlement, isn't it? In defiance of this ceaseless gloom almost.
Here we are. Though you'll doubtless find much of what you see in Alexandria strange, the traditional agriculture practiced in this village at least should be familiar.
They have the thing. They have the things on the hand.
Queen Sphene? What business brings her here, I wonder?
The queen has come!
Everyone has them.
You look well, Paquine. And Catogne, I see you've already taken to your new position.
When she introduced herself as queen, I was expecting someone colder. Honestly, she reminds me of you, Lamachi.
Me?
It's only natural for a ruler to love her people. And I should like to know them as best I can, even the most trifling details.
The more you come to know them,
They kind of
the more
sound
you grow
similar.
to love them. Who they are and what they've built.
That's it. Beautifully put. And it would appear that she is well loved in turn.
Your Majesty, you honor us with your presence. And who are these fine people?
Tuliolol's vow of resolve Wuk-Lamat and her companions. They come from beyond the barrier, but you needn't worry. They are good people and are to be treated as my honored guests.
The rumors of a link to the outside are true, then. Wuk-Lamat is still so young. Ah, where are my manners? I am Popone, a leader of sorts of the people living out here.
Papone? That is a Tonawautan ring to it.
Right you are. I take it you hail from this region as well? Teshpiani, perhaps?
Yes, I do. I don't suppose you know a woman by the name of Kafkiwa?
Kafkiwa. I'm afraid I'm not sure if I've ever met someone with that name.
Mother isn't here. But it's a relief to know at least some of the people of Yasulani are alive and well.
Your mother, you say? Now that you mention it, I do see the resemblance.
You know my mother?
I do. Yes.
Then tell me, please, where is she?
I cannot say. Not here, but I promise I will in due time.
I have a question, Pepone. Do you recall what happened the day the dome first appeared?
The barrier? Well, I remember fixing a shelf that had collapsed after a terrible earthquake. Then the ground began to tremble. There was a brilliant flash of light, and then...
How convenient, and
Forgive me, my recollection of it all is rather poor.
You needn't push yourself, Popone.
they might have been
After 30
brainwashed.
years, no one could blame you for not remembering.
30 years.
30 years? As in 30 years in the past?
Absurd though it may sound, there is no doubt in my mind the events that led to the joining of our lands occurred 30 years ago.
Which is not to say I understand why our perceptions of the intervening time are so radically different. We only just became aware of the discrepancy when Zoralja's military base was completed, and we were at last able to venture beyond the barrier.
I believed you long dead. To have the chance to kill you myself is an unforeseen blessing.
"30 years. Little wonder Zoralja assumed our father had already passed away.
It's not unlike how time passes differently in the First and the Source. The fluctuating space of the rift between them disrupting temporal equivalence. Perhaps the same holds true here, and time flowed faster within the dome.
Meaning this is a piece of another reflection?
I cannot say for certain, but I strongly suspect that to be the case. And based on the Queen's account, this encampment may have come to serve as a physical bridge between the two planes, after which the dome was forced into the Source's temporal flow.
If we're to be certain of anything, we need more information. Sveen, would it be all right if we had a look around and spoke with the townspeople?
By all means.
Time to see what we can see of Alexandria, then.
And its people. I may yet find familiar faces among the survivors from Yasulani.
Well, considering that the rabbits
Even if I don't
live
understand the half
quite a
of it,
long life,
I would learn
his
more
mother
of this
should
place
still be okay.
before we confront Zoralja.
Perhaps you'd care to see how we make our living. Though we have always prided ourselves on the use of traditional Tonawatan farming methods, the use of electro-fueled technologies has led to countless agricultural innovations.
I would join you as well.
Ma'am, please, you needn't trouble yourself.
It's no trouble at all. And I promise not to cause any manner of distraction.
Reassuring words, or they would be had I not heard them countless times before. Very well, but do be careful.
Of course. I shall proceed with the utmost care. Now then, if you two would follow me, we can begin the tour.
I can't say that I trust her yet, but I trust that her affection for these people is genuine, and that's enough for me.
I don't know about this. Everyone has those devices on their heads that can resurrect. Sveen's outfit is pretty interesting. She's definitely enhanced with something. Something is flowing around her, some kind of energy. It's on her head. It's on her dress. farmlands with the queen of another nation is not how I expected to spend my day. Electrope has done much to improve the efficiency of their farming, but hasn't replaced everything. The people wanted to preserve their old way of life, and we didn't want to force ours upon them. You went to such lengths so that our cultures could coexist, even going so far as to learn our tongue. I'm sure everyone appreciated that. Communication was thankfully not an issue, for the Turali tongue is surprisingly similar to Alexandrian. Of course, there are words and phrases for which there is no equivalent, but those can be taught with minimal effort. Through mutual respect, understanding, and patience, we Alexandrians and Turali have learned a great deal from one another. And I am sure there is much you wish to learn as well, so please, if you have questions, do not hesitate to ask. Rather than bore you with lengthy explanations, let us head back to the farm we passed earlier. Ipu Hallow, it is called. We can speak with one of the farmers when we arrive. I guess we're off to... yeah. Let's get there right first. Forecast terminal? Ah, it's this. I see. Allow me to introduce you to Mahuza, one of the most experienced farm hands in all of Alexandria. She's very well versed in myriad farming techniques. Indeed, the wealth of knowledge she has shared with the other farmers is what has allowed this place to flourish. Queen's Fiend, to what do I owe this sudden shower of praise? My apologies for interruption. I come with guests from beyond the barrier. They wish to learn more about Alexandria, and so I invited them to see how our crops are grown. I do hope that's alright. So the rumors of visitors from the outside were true. What manner of hosts would we be to deny them a look around? And I gather your majesty also intended to check on things here. You know me too well, Mahuza. I thought to seize this opportunity to see how the farmers fare, and perhaps pepper them with a few questions, though I do so enjoy observing and taking part in the work too. It would appear we have her permission, so please walk the grounds to your heart's content. You go on ahead, I'll keep Sveen company. Don't misunderstand, I'm not suspicious type, but given our positions, it would make sense for us to go around together, wouldn't you say? A fair point. But be sure not to let me out of your sight. I shall remain under Wuklamat's watchful eye. Pray come find us after you've seen your fill and spoken with the other farmhands. Lies. Light levels appear to be fine. As for the power source... you wish to know about my jump? I tend to the fields mostly, watering the crops, keeping the soil fertile, and so on. I admittedly took some time until I fully understand how best to carry out my duties. I also manage the lamps we use in the fields. We do our best to keep everything up to code, but should they ever start malfunctioning, it's up to me to fix them. The land and sky being what they are, ensuring a rich harvest makes for constant work. But honestly, I enjoy how involved the process is. Both my parents being Alexandrian, I didn't grow up knowing much of anything about farming. Every day is an opportunity to learn and grow. Enoch? Oh, and a familiar face. I gather this is your first time on site then. Well, this here's the storehouse, or rather the entrance. The real storehouse is underground, much more spacious and equipped with temperature regulation system to keep the harvest from spoiling. Since the entrance is so small, it's much easier to prevent wild beasts from wandering aside, which also makes it a viable facility for breeding and raising livestock. We've even got a few beds down there for emergencies. My parents often complain about how Alexandrian technology and electro complicate our lives. Well, it's just a matter of learning how things work. Take my job, for instance. I'm presently overseeing the storage of harvested crops. They'll be taken up to the tower for processing, and from there find their way to every dining table in Alexandria. The work is hard, I'll not deny, but I take great satisfaction in what we do. Keep that way. They're saying that you and yours are visitors from beyond the barrier, that's true? So it is, which means we've connected to the outside world again. Not that I have the desire to leave, mind you. I'm quite content with life here in Alexandria. But setting that aside, you're here to observe our work, right? As you can see, I'm in charge of livestock. Here at Yipu's Aloe, we produce not only fruits and vegetables, but also meat, poultry, and eggs. Tending the animals is an absolute joy. I have to be careful not to grow too attached. It's always a little sad when they're shipped off, but a job is a job. Well, I need to get back to it. But it was nice talking to you. Please give my regards to the Queen. It's a shame Koan is not here to see all these bizarre contraptions. I see. Don't be too hard on yourself. Anyone would have been hard-pressed to deal with such a thing. Oh, welcome back. My apologies for failing to notice your return. I gather you had your fill of speaking with the farmers? Then let us return to Mauza. Well, what are your impressions of the farm? I was amazed that everyone loves their work. It's a bit uncanny. A curious observation. Do you not love your own work? Oh, but I jest. It's true that people of outskirts seem the most fulfilled, always. They take to their duties with a good cheer. And what do you think of our little tour, Lamati? What did you call me? Was that inappropriate? My apologies. I heard the others call you by that name, and I thought... No, it's fine. As you said before, we've no need for titles and formalities. As for my thoughts, I was very impressed. The machines could be used to overcome so harsh an environment is amazing. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anything like it before. The feeling is understandable. Indeed, many still find the machinery behind me baffling. It's a system that controls the distribution of water for the fields and livestock. It's been acting up lately, though. Acting up, you say? You needn't worry, my queen. It happens fairly often. Put simply, it's taking in water that had a strong lighting charge. We think some creatures have become charged up with the energy, and they're releasing it into the river we use as a source. The system would return to normal if the creatures were dealt with, but I'm reluctant to beg it of the army. I smell a quest. We could take care of it all if you'd like. That is most gracious of you to offer, but it is much too dangerous. Oh, it's no trouble for the vow of resolve of Tilialal. Regardless of how the relationship between our nations may develop, there are people in need. I want to help. Simple as that. And Magin is even stronger than I am. It shouldn't take us long. It shouldn't take us long at all. Then very well. I gratefully accept, but please take all care. Overly polite, man. Too polite. This ought to be even faster if you and I search for lighting charged fiends on our own. Good hunting. Almost 99. Are you both alright? Thank goodness. You really needn't have worried so much. Barely broke a sweat dealing with the fiends. They're all gone now. Of course I was worried. You're my dear guests. But thank you. I would truly appreciate this. Indeed, with this we won't have to ask Zoralja's machines for help. He's been making a concerted effort to bolster his forces, sparing but a fraction for the people's protection. He thinks nothing for our safety, and like Queen Sveen. That's enough, Mahuza. If you have grievances, I will hear them later. But to speak of the king now... Oh, she's right. He's never been one to look after his people. Anyway, thanks for letting us tour the farm. The folk here are delightful, and it was a pleasure to meet them. You couldn't have favored us with more uplifting words. My people are my pride and joy. And you never fail to let us know, nor how much you care. Of course, you're my precious family, all of you. You definitely make parallels to how Lamati thinks about the people of Tuliol. Yeah, you seem a good sort, Sveen. That I'll admit. But you'll forgive me if I'm not ready to lower my guard for the enemy queen just yet. For you to be called that, I dread to imagine what villainy your majesty has committed. Come now, this is no laughing matter. A ruler is responsible for the welfare of countless lives, and one wrong decision can lead to untold suffering. Failure is unconscious. What is that word? Failure is unconscionable. Now I believe we are done with the farm. Let's move on, shall we? Perhaps we should head back to the outskirts. I dare say your friends will also have returned by now. But thanks again for dealing with the fiends. Come and visit us anytime. There's so much of Alexander I would love to show you. Do you hear that? And I drank some coffee, I'm still drowsy. Ooh. Had a bad sleep today.
What's happening over there?
Moist.
It's nearly time.
Nearly time for what?
I'm glad you could make it.
Are you with us?
Queen Sveen has come to see you. We're here, Namika. Everything is going to be all right. What's the matter, dear?
Just calling for Wuklamat.
It can't
Wait, it's
be.
Namika, it's her, the woman that raised her, right? Helped to raise her.
That's the bangle I gave to Namika.
You know her?
Of course
She's
I
probably
know
like
her.
Katie.
She was like a mother to me.
I see. She was always willing to lend a kindly ear to others, but rarely did she ever speak of herself.
Is it really you?
She must have arrived shortly before the barrier manifested. For us, it was perhaps days, but for her...
Namika, it's me! Wuklamat!
I'm afraid her time with us is nearly at an end.
Has she no more soul cells?
She always used hers sparingly, but at her age, it wouldn't make a difference.
Ma'am, the ushers have arrived.
It's interesting that Sin doesn't have the gadget on the head.
Thank you, Namika, for your many years of friendship. Take comfort in the knowledge that this is not the end. Be not afraid. Your memory will live on, in us.
Living on in memory. The giants share a similar belief.
Wait, where are you taking her?
Worry not. She is being escorted to a medical facility in the tower. There we will ease her burden. I had hoped to make arrangements for her sooner, but she wished to remain here for as long as possible. I could not bring myself to refuse her.
Is there any way I might stay with her for a little while longer? We may not share the same blood, but she was my mother. Please.
Let us give them some time alone.
She didn't speak, but I'm grateful that I could be with her at the end. Thank you.
It's not the end.
Hmm?
Oh, nothing. I was just thinking that we have much to discuss. Where shall we begin?
With what we can be reasonably certain of, perhaps. Between what we have witnessed and the testimony of Alexandria's inhabitants, it's safe to say that two distinct lands have indeed become one. What's more, having met Namika, there is no denying the divergence in the passage of time. Taken together, these phenomena strongly suggest that some manner of cross-rift displacement has occurred. Specifically, the displacement of Alexandria from another reflection to the source.
It's kind of like a calamity in its own way, you know.
It does seem the most likely explanation.
It's forcibly rejoined the source.
What perplexes me, however, is the scale of said displacement. It far exceeds what could conceivably be achieved with a Void Gate, or even with the Crystal Tower. In essence, we are dealing with a localized instance of dimensional compression. The Ascians would no doubt liken it to a rejoining.
In a way it was.
Which invites the question, how was such a feat accomplished?
I wish that I had an answer for you, but this talk of reflections and dimensions is well beyond my understanding.
I don't believe her. I don't believe her one bit.
I can only tell you that we lived peacefully under the barrier's protection for many, many years, until the day that peace was suddenly broken. If I may clarify, the barrier predates Alexandria's displacement.
By several hundred years, yes. To when the continent we call home was ravaged by a devastating cataclysm. The barrier was erected to isolate us from the surrounding land's noxious influence.
I see. And it was only later that it was whisked away, along with its contents, by means unknown.
In other words, Sphin's as lost as the rest of us, right? The Alexandrians didn't mean to end up in Tural.
But of course, our next stop ought to be Everkeep. That
She
tower
just
over
ignores
yonder.
that.
Once you have been registered as my guests, you will have access to Solution 9 and its residential district, where you will doubtless gain invaluable insight into Alexandria's state of affairs.
That is the city.
Unfortunately, I cannot take you directly to where Zoralja resides.
That you'd let us in it all goes a long way toward proving you're not content to let Zoralja do as he pleases. But we're not talking about a simple difference of opinion here. I've come to avenge my father. And to do so, I intend to take Zoralja's life.
I kinda need some
Are you willing to stand by and
coffee
allow
or something.
Alexandria's king to be slain?
Something doesn't add up.
A fair question. Permit me to answer it thus. My people come first. Their welfare is paramount. I will do everything in my power to keep them from harm. It is a ruler's duty. Now, I am off to register you at Everkeep. It may take some time, but you shall find the entrance open to you in due course. Oh, and ere I forget, your mother, Kafkiwa, you might try the Thunder Yards to the east.
The Thunder Yards? Is that where she is?
I'm afraid I can say no more than that. Make for the Thunder Yards, and all will be made clear.
It's not as if we have other pressing business. Not until we can get into this Everkeep, anyway. Thank you.
What happened to
for
his
and for being a friend to Namika
thing?
these past 30 years. It means a lot to me.
Namika? I'm sorry, but I don't know who you mean.
They're getting memory wiped?
What? We were just with her. If this is some sort of a joke, it isn't funny.
I don't mean to give offense, but I honestly have no idea.
Ignorance
who you
is
are
a
talking
bliss.
about. I'm sorry.
Right?
How can you not know who she is? You're in charge here. She was under your care.
I think I see what happens.
Then in all likelihood, my memories of her have been stored in the cloud.
She's been removed, and everyone's memory was erased of her existence.
Any person seemingly forgotten without reason is probably there, in the cloud. Oh, I really must be getting back to work. If you'll excuse me.
This is very unsettling. We'll see how it is with other people. As far as I could tell, Epione generally had no recollection of Namika. I've never seen nor heard of anything like this before. What's going on? How could Epione suddenly forget about Namika? It's as if he never knew her. Could the same thing have happened to others as well, I wonder? There's only one way to find out. Let's make inquiries about Namika in the area. We can reconvene afterwards at the Netherite. It was probably mass, like updated. They released a firmware update to everyone and erased her from their memories, so that they wouldn't be like worrying about where she is, and just would get on with their favorite jobs that they so much enjoy doing. Yes. An old woman named Namika? I'm afraid I don't know that person. I'm sorry I couldn't be of help. Yeah, it's been done to everyone. What's that? Do I know Namika? Never met anyone by that name, and I've worked at the outskirts for a good while now. If she spent time here, I would have remembered. I do recall caring for someone until recently, and you see that it was a woman named Namika. While I can't say for certain if it was her, I wouldn't worry. I'm sure she'll just been taken up to the cloud. So it was the same for everyone. Not a single person remembers Namika. It's as if the memory of her has been purged from their minds. While such a thing might be done with magic, to alter the memories of so many at once would be a tremendous undertaking. Who would have felt a surge of ether corresponding to the act, too, and I sensed none in a moment. Neither did I, but did I notice something else? But I did notice something else. Right before Epione seemingly forgot, the light in the device on his head began to blink. Could there be a connection? Someone also said something about soul cells. But who might we ask about this? If we continued making making such inquiries. I expect we would only cause confusion. Indeed, if we can't readily solve the mystery about Namika, perhaps we could search for Cassia or whatever. Sven said to try the Thunder Yards. It should be in this direction. Gonna drink some water. What the hell is that? Impossible. Unidentified floating object. Another kind of mechanical soldier. It looks dangerous. We'd better destroy it. Should we give a chase? Should we give chase? Sorry. I think it understood our words. It might be worth us asking it some questions. Admiral, are you alright? You look like you've seen a ghost. It's nothing. I'm fine. Well, it went off in the direction we've headed anyway, so let's try to track it down. Yeah, I'm gonna get some water. That voice, could it be? Arabelle knows something. You found it! It entered some kind of mine. To the northeast? That must be bound for the mines. Come on then. It could well be a trap, so let's not rush in too quickly. the stone in those crates? Could it be turquoise? So it went in here. An old coal mine. It appears to have long since been abandoned, like so many other places. I think it's safe to assume it went into the mines. I heard faint voices coming from inside. So it's not alone, but we're still going in, of course. This may be a trap. Be ready for a fight, everyone. I'm not worried. I had to improvise countless times before, after all. A device made with the electrode, which seems to be the only one here. This tunnel just keeps going. I can hear them, several people up ahead. I can't make out their conversation with the echoing. Let's keep going, stay on your guard.
What is this?
Aaronville!
They don't have the things on their heads.
A trap? It really is you!
Who's that?
Huh?
Some kind of drone? Someone is speaking through it?
Who?
I just have to get a look at you in the light. And I can still hardly believe my eyes. But it is you, my darling Olympia!
My darling, what now?
Oh, it's so good to see you, my fussy little bun bun. But what are you doing here? What brings you all this way? Why the long face? Aren't you happy to see me after all this time?
Is it his mother?
I know that laugh anywhere. Mother?
Wait. Since when was your mother a weird floating thing?
And what have we here? Say, aren't you Galul Jaja's kitten? I knew I recognized that adorable fuzzy face. Ellen Espia was always so excited whenever you invited him over to play. You remember me, I hope?
I can't say that I do, but you know my father?
Appearances notwithstanding, it would seem this is my mother, Kafkiwa.
I'm sorry?
Daisy, oh my god.
Oh, this won't do. Come in, come in! Friends of my LNSP are always welcome.
All I ask is a little forewarning, but no.
Why are they hiding here, I wonder?
Just when I thought I was starting to get a handle on this place, how are things still getting stranger?
The Elegans had machines that could be controlled remotely. Is she using something similar to communicate with us? Animal's mother is floating machine. Right, that makes about as much sense as everything else thus far. And that's some lo-fi playing in the background. At this point, I doubt anything could possibly surprise me. As far as I can tell, this is indeed my mother. I can think of few people in the world quite so spirited. But as to what's happened, we'll need to ask her. 99! Hell yeah. Let's hear what she has to say. We have some kind of map, a plan. It's so wonderful to meet you all. And the students of Baldessian. It's been a while since I heard that name. Dare I ask the reason for your appearance? Oh, this? It's just a body that I control remotely. I use this for our operations. We're members of the resistance organization Oblivion. We call ourselves, and our goal is to thwart Zoralja's ambitions for conquest. As the leader, it's prudent that I remain where I can be possibly found. Where I can't be easily found. I see. Whimsical appearances notwithstanding, yours is a serious cause. Right you are. Though, truth to be told, Oblivion was founded for an altogether different purpose. And that is? As I expect you've already noticed, everything you see within this dome, the buildings, the people, the very earth beneath our feet, is a fusion of two worlds. Stopping such a fusion was Oblivion's original mission. Then does that mean you know who or what is responsible for it? I'm afraid not. This was a long time ago, and our mission statement has become more of a legend that's passed down to members. By the time we joined, our soul's objective was stopping Zoralja. But we failed to do that, and now he's taking his army outside the dome. None of you wear those strange devices on your heads. Does that have something to do with your work? You mean this? It's a regulator, the pinnacle of electro technology, and that we don't wear it is indeed related to our operations. So that their memories wouldn't be wiped or something. What exactly does it do? Allow me to explain. Regulators have two primary functions. The first, as the name suggests, is the regulation of the wearer's reserve of souls. Should they die, the regulator expands a soul to bring them back to life. Reserve? You mean people walk around carrying spare souls? They do. Souls are packaged in cells, and they can be used to replenish the life force that is lost due to sudden death, such as in accidents. They do nothing for those who die of old age, though. Distribution of soul cells is based on one's work evaluation. Haha! I see what they did here. They encourage exemplary performance when fulfilling their duties, of course. Wanna get back up from a fucking harrowing accident? You better work your ass off every day. Souls is a common resource, and payment for services rendered. The voidsent practice of consuming others for their ether comes to mind, and similarly I expect that the act comes with some risk. Wouldn't the consciousness of others corrupt your own? That is prevented through memory management, a process in which regulators also play a role. Memory management? Then the reason everyone has forgotten Namika's existence. The regulators are constantly recording the memories of their wearer, so if they should suddenly die, their memories can be refreshed as part of the restoration process. This is how they preserve one's identity and sense of self. However, the regulators are also triggered when someone else dies. The reason being is that the regulators forcibly extract memories relating to the disease from anyone wearing them. Oh, they collect every memory from everyone that was talking to the person and interacted. Why would they do such a thing? It's a kindness bestowed upon the people by our keep score system, so that no one has to suffer the pain of loss. So this is what it's meant by their memories being in the cloud. Indeed, all memories of the deceased are wiped from the minds of the people and archived in the system. For what purpose? It's fighting function of the regulators, an internal step in soul cell production. You see, when a person dies of natural causes, their soul is temporarily housed within the regulator. It's then delivered to a facility where memories are separated from the soul. The result is a fresh soul cell, free of impurities, ready for distribution and consumption. Meanwhile, the memories are stored in the core system to be remembered forever. And this is why people are happy here. On its surface, it's similar to Yokui philosophy, but I see nothing noble or comforting in it. Well, it doesn't seem so terrible to me personally. All comes down to what you're used to, I suppose. Like the barrier encased in Alexandria, the system was created to overcome the calamity that transformed the world hundreds of years ago. Amidst the mounting death toll, scientists used Selktrop to devise a means to save what lives they could so that the nation could endure. I understand the people of Alexandria did what they believed was the best to save their people. I just find it hard to believe that Turali would also accept this way of living. It came as a shock to us as well. In fact, a great many were opposed to it. Which is why the use of regulators was never compulsory. The people have always been free to go without them if they so wish. Sphene didn't strike me as the sort of a ruler to impose her will on others. Ah, so you're already mad. She's the one who suggested we come to the Thunder Yards in the first place. She also said she wants to help us stop Zoralja. Awfully kind of her to point you in my direction and to speak so candidly as well. Whatever her motives, she has given the people a choice: live with the risk of true death or the security of the regulators. Everything that lives must someday die. That is the natural order of things. Quite right, but how do you feel about them? It would be easier to understand what the regulators are capable of if you saw it for yourself. I know just the person to show you, and as luck will have it, they should be starting work right about now. What are we going to see exactly? Come with me and you'll find out. Take care not to get struck by lightning out there. One fella reckoned you could dodge them by jumping back the instant there's a flash, but that's crazy if you ask me. They were using regulators up to some point, but something happened. I'm sorry, but I just can't accept the idea of using souls as a resource. Wait. Oh my god, I've skipped everything. Everyone here good? It is the responsibility of the Thunder Yards hunters to fell any fiends found wandering the area. Or to meet an acquaintance of mine, Strika, one of these hunters. What do you think is in this box? I'm guessing food. Judging by its name, I take it this facility is for gathering lighting energy. Strickle will show you what life can be like while wearing a regulator. Cassia, what are you doing here? And with so many friends? Apologies for the interruption, but I was hoping they might observe you at the work. Hunting, you mean? That's fine, I guess. Hold on, I assumed they were wearing special regulators like Queen Sven's crown, but they aren't wearing anything at all. It's much... Ah, so Sven also has one. Makes sense. It's much too dangerous to be here without one. What if they're struck by lightning or attacked by beasts? I can assure you, they're all quite capable of looking after themselves. If anything should go amiss, I will take full responsibility. Well, don't say I didn't warn you. Danger aside, there isn't really much to see. Cassia said you're a hunter, but wouldn't it be easier for those mechanical soldiers to guard this place? It would if not for the fact that they're weak to lighting. We gotta know that. The Thunder Yard being what it is, they've been ordered to steal clear. Some good they are, eh? But these facilities are vital to the upkeeping of Alexandria's infrastructure. So it falls to hunters like me to deal with any fiends. Given the danger, we're well compensated for our work. It's a perfect profession for anyone looking to build up savings. The special selection of souls for hunters isn't terrible either. I brought this lot here to see this danger you speak of, if it's not too much trouble to ask. Ah, of course, in which case, it'd be a shame to waste my efforts on just any old beast. You all can handle yourselves in a fight, right? If you cause a ruckus slaying what creatures you see nearby, there's a chance you'll draw out something worthy of a demonstration. I'm not sure I understand, but I suppose we should each slay what we can. And poor animals, they're just getting slayed all the time. For no apparent reason. My first little bonbon was never any good at fighting, and this body of mine isn't suited to either. We'll leave this work in your capable hands. I'm afraid I must leave the fighting to you. I know, it's alright, it's alright. Defective sentries. She's a monk. This one will do nicely. So what, she will buff herself with the souls, probably? It's fine, really. I've faced worse. Just watch. I don't like the looks of this. So basically she got hit and she's gonna get back up. But we've seen it. Zoralja demonstrated it. I don't see the point of showing it again. She needs healing. I understand why it was necessary to show it again, man. We literally learned how regulators work. We saw Zoralja's resurrection. Just strange, it just feels like an unnecessary filler. Show that everyone has the same... Basically to show that everyone has the same thing. It's not some kind of privilege for him to have it. That was embarrassing. The bastard caught me off guard. Are you mad? Seriously? Let us help. I told you not to worry. This will only take a moment. Ah, so she also enters this like enhanced mode. Juiced up. Man, poor cow. Just like Zoralja. Come on, let's get out of here. That's also a function of the regulator? I think I understand now how Zoralja was able to return from the dead and defeat Papa, but I'm not sure what we saw at the end there. As soon as the regulator turned red, it was as if you were possessed. Your movements became beast-like. Don't tell me you empowered yourself with the soul of a beast. I'm reminded of the serpentine soldier we encountered. Ah! So they can use souls of animals too, and creatures, and like... It's basically like possession by the Void Sun, right? You gain their aspect. So you've crossed paths with one of the king's elite. Such a form can only be achieved from gorging yourself on souls. We could do the same in theory, but it's incredibly dangerous. Besides, if it's not as if they allow hunters to carry that many souls to begin with. Well, I should be getting back to work. Take care. And there we have it. Regulators can be loaded with two kinds of souls, those of people and those of beasts. The souls of people can be used to grant the user preternatural strength. Naturally, they can also be used to ensure no one suffers an untimely death. And what about the souls of the beasts? They work much in the same fashion, imbuing you the strength of the chosen animal. If, for example, you use the soul of a wolf, you would grow more agile and feral, as you saw with Strika. Using several of the same type at once, however, would result in physical changes. Your teeth might become fangs, your nails claws, too many, and you'll become more beast than a man. Changing one's form through the souls of other beings, it becomes more and more reminiscent of Voidsent. Yet unlike the Void, where the cycle of death and rebirth is simply broken, souls here are forcibly taken before they might reach the ethereal sea. Different means to achieve similar ends. A cycle to which all within the dome are bound. This is wrong. This is all wrong. It is indeed hard to accept, being so far removed from our own beliefs. Perhaps more shocking is that the technology to achieve all this was developed hundreds of years ago. The civilizations in the reflections are surprising. The civilizations in the reflections are surprising indeed. He probably remembers the words of Ahmed Selk. I've never seen it for myself, but it's said that if a beast's soul is potent enough, a single soul is enough to induce a monstrous transformation. Sphene speaks of lived experiences that suggest she's far older than she appears. Considering the power of these regulators, perhaps it's not so far-fetched. I understand this is the part of their culture, but it's no less disconcerting. Having seen the beauty of ethereal sea firsthand, I simply can accept what they've done here in Alexandria. When Ahmed Selk spoke of surprising civilizations and other reflections, I wonder if he had Alexandria in mind. While we all have our thoughts and souls, for now the important thing is that we know what power Zoralja has at his disposal. It is one thing to separate corporeal ether from incorporeal ether, but to strip memories from the soul entirely is unprecedented technology. This is no longer only Toliolo's concern. With this newfound power, Zoralja has become a real threat to the entire world. He has to be stopped no matter the cost. I trust you've gained an insight into the use of souls in Alexandria. It's shocking, I know. I was overwhelmed myself at first. I expect you'll need some time to digest it all. But for now, let's head back to the earth and sky. At this rate, there's something I want to discuss with everyone. Let's take a moment before we head into the tunnel. It is well that we could see firsthand how regulators are used to draw upon even the souls of fiends. I shudder to imagine how powerful Zoralja could become. What does Lamathieu wish to discuss, I wonder? I think that everyone has lived here for 30 years, long enough to become accustomed to the way of life. I understand the argument that we should keep an open mind if this practice is integral to their culture, but every fiber of my being rails against it. I'm sorry for delaying us, but I have some thoughts I need to share. In both technology and values, it's plain there is a wide gulf between Tuliolol and Alexandria. While Zoralia knows everything about us, we know hardly anything about what he's become. Indeed, we haven't even seen what lies within the enormous tower, Everkeep. So here I'd like to make a proposal. That is, we work with Cassie and her people. We need to learn as much as we can about the enemy. The quickest way would be to join hands with Oblivion. We've only just met them, I know, and we shouldn't be too quick to trust, but the fact remains that they share our desire to stop Zoralia. Sven too claims to be at odds with the King of Resolve. May I ask why you would cooperate with Oblivion instead? It's simply really, their leader is Arenville's mother. Meanwhile, whatever Sven may feel, she's the ruler of this nation. There's a greater risk in working with her, and less reason to take her at her word. I'm glad she doesn't, buy her bullshit so easily. A fair point, and knowing Zoralia, we must assume that his arrangement with Sven was not made without some consideration. All I know is that it would be heartening to have allies in this strange realm. I think everyone would agree that any help we can get would be welcome. Hold on, there's no guarantee that it's actually my mother behind the machine. Without seeing her in flesh, we can't rule out the possibility of a ploy. If it turns out to be a trap, we endanger not only ourselves but everyone in Tuliolol. As you say, we have no proof that it really is Cassia, but I make my proposal in full awareness of this. Whether we're going to war and striving for peace, we need to learn as much as we can, otherwise we can't hope to do anything meaningful. As it stands, we know too little about this realm. We need to remedy that. We need to study the enemy, and when the time comes, strike down Zoralia for good and all. What's more, I trust you, Arenville. You always had great instincts, honed from your time training under your mother. What if I'm wrong? What if sentiment is clouding my judgment? If it's a trap, then we're gonna deal with it. Right? That's always the way of it with you. Fine, if you're set on this, then I'll say no more. Then it's settled. Let's head inside and secure ourselves some new allies. What kind of gear is this? Ah, it's the set. Yeah, I remember this. I agree with Lucamat. It's a gamble regardless of whether or not we choose to work with these people here, and more knowledge is better than less. Alright, let's do it. Cassia, there's something I need to tell you and your people. We came here for no other reason than to strike down Zoralia. For I thought he was your father. He was your brother. Do you really mean to kill your own kin? My kin invaded our nation and murdered our people. As a vow of resolve, it falls to me to bring him to account. I'm prepared to do what I must, and I won't hesitate when the time comes. Like us, you and yours oppose Zoralja. In light of this, I propose that we work together to stop him once and for all. I realize that this is sudden, that it's a gamble to trust someone you've only just met. But I would trust in the conviction of anyone who shares my goal. So fight with me, I beg you. As you say, our goals align, and I don't doubt your resolve in the least. If you hadn't proposed working together, I would have done so instead. Truth be told, it's been tough going at it alone. While we're gathered ample intelligence, we don't have the strength to take decisive action. Besides, how could we not trust you? My only son is with you, my fussy little Banba. He's all the reason I need. Then it's decided. Here's to a fruitful collaboration. Thank you, Kase, everyone. Together we'll achieve great things. I'm sure of it. Then let us not waste any time. We've been wondering about Zoralja's whereabouts. Is there a palace inside the tower? After a fashion, the king resides on the uppermost level, but while Queen Sphene has a penchant for going out in public, he seldom shows himself. What's more, his movements are highly classified. Not even his commanders are privy to that information. If anyone knows where he is at any given time, it could only be the Queen. Even if we don't know his whereabouts, Zoralja will eventually march on Tuliol again. That's when we can go after him. The drawback is that we'd have to wait for the invasion to happen. Innocents would be put in harm's way. There's also the possibility that he'll leave everything to his minions and not command the army in person. No, he'll take the field. What makes you so certain? My brother has always yearned to surpass our father. That's why he attacked Tuliol. After waiting for 30 years, the first thing he wanted to do was to demonstrate his newfound strength. But killing Papa didn't satisfy him, so now he's bent on proving himself stronger than me and Koana, who's bested him in the right of succession. He challenged me to strike him down. He wants a duel to show everyone that he's superior to Dawn's servant, and he won't let his minions deprive him of the pleasure. Then why hasn't he appeared and given you your chance? Surely he is aware of our presence here. At that I can only guess. Perhaps he wants to dazzle us with his wondrous realm, but if he won't deign to appear, then we'll force him to do so. Even as we gathered intelligence, we make no move to attack him. Show absolutely no interest in confrontation. Knowing him, he'll tire of waiting and turn his attention to Kwan instead. He'll attack Tuliol again, like he said he would. I see. If you believe this is the best approach, then we have no objections. Any campaign against Tuliol requires that Zoralja led his forces through Vanguard. We'll have lookouts keep an eye on it day and night. Such a strategy is certainly viable if we're proceeding with it, though we should warn those outside. Indeed, they'll need time to prepare their defenses. I should be glad to coordinate our efforts. I'm already in regular contact with Yistola. We'll make sure to keep our comrades apprised of developments. You can leave Vanguard to us. We'll send word at the first sign of movement. It seems we have a plan. While we wait for Zoralja to move, you'll do well to prepare for battle, and it begins with familiarizing yourself with the technology that empowers them. To that end, I'll show you to Oblivion's main headquarters. Oh, I thought this place was it. You'll be impressed to know that we're located right inside the tower, in the residential district of Solution 9. hiding a tree in the forest, as it were. The only question is how to get you through the checkpoint. How about that? Sven said that she'd make it so that we could enter without issue. She did? Curious. She's not supposed to have such authority over the sentries. If I recall correctly, her words were that she would register us as guests. I see. Perhaps we're in the clear then. When you're ready, come and meet me at the tower entrance. Before you head out, give us a moment to introduce ourselves properly, eh? After all, names are good to know when they're working together. While Oblivion has operatives all over, we're the main crew here. I'm Georg, the leader of this hideout, and the dependable young twins behind me are Nostalgia and Wayakeve, or whatever. I'm Nostalgia. It's a pleasure to meet you. My sister and I were born and raised inside the barrier. We've been in with Oblivion for 3 years, and our main duties are surveillance and provisioning. Twins, eh? That explains the resemblance. Wayakwe is a Tonawatan name, unless I'm mistaken. That's right, our mother is Tuliolan and our father is Alexandrian. They wanted to honor both cultures. They're beautiful names. Thank you. Though I have no memories of my mother, I like to think I carry a part of her with me. So what made you decide to join Oblivion? We wanted to avenge our father. Ambrose was his name, and years ago he was taken away after a scuffle with a soldier over a disagreement. There was a minor incident, so at first we clung to the hope that he'd be released. But when months went by with no word from or about him, we made the decision to remove our regulators. We had already lost the memories of our mother. We didn't want to lose those of our father as well. They've all forgotten about him now. Everyone who had known him. That bastard, even here, he thinks nothing of his own people. Sometime later we were approached by a member of Oblivion, hoping to get justice for our father. We joined the Order. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to darken the mood. No, I appreciate your sharing this. Together we'll avenge your father. Thank you. Something tells me you have what it takes. You introduce yourself too, go on. It's pretty much the same story for me. And while mine is Tona Walton name, I haven't the faintest how things are outside the barrier. It's my dream to go and see it with my own eyes, our mother's homeland. Once peace is restored, you must come and visit. The wilds are beautiful, the food's delicious, and everyone's so nice. You'll love it. And that's us here. You'll meet the others in the back room. That's our headquarters. Some of them are a little eccentric, but they have good hearts all. And then Sphia, one last thing. It isn't exactly my place to say this, but thank you for seeking out Cassia. She talks about you so much. It's clear how important you are to her. That's all. Be good to your mother while you still can, eh? Well, we'll let you go now. Feel free to use this hideout as you like. Meanwhile in Everkeep. This is where they store their souls.
You've been consulting with Wuk Lamat. No matter. I do not know what you are scheming. But when your realm lay on the brink, you were powerless. You had no choice but to turn to me. Whatever sentiment you may feel for her, it is my power you require, is it not?
Perhaps. And yet, knowing the love that Wuglamark bears for her people, how she regards them all as kin, I cannot help but wish to spare her the same pain I have suffered. What's more, her friends possess new knowledge. Were we to work together, we might find another path. I know you're loath to consider it, but is there no hope for peace with Tuliona? What we've already done may be unforgivable, but it needn't continue. You needn't kill your brother and sister.
I slew my only flesh and blood. Yet you attempt to sway me with an appeal to family. The memory of my father's final moments still fills me with disappointment. Age came for him before I did. For long years, I sought to prove the miracle. And weak as he was, defeating him achieved nothing. To kill them is my only recourse. Wuklamat and Kona, who bested him as he was in his prime.
They are still your siblings, even if not by blood. That such bonds should mean so little to you.
I am bound to no one. Serve none save myself. I made that clear when first you spoke to me in the Golden City. Remember, I can easily kill your beloved family. If you would protect them, cast aside any foolish notions. Your wisdom and abilities are valuable insofar as our goals align. So think well before you act, Queen of Reason. Wuklamat, if you are Father's worthy successor, then you will find your way to me. But should you fall short, I will lay waste to Tuli Yolal.
What now?
At long last, we're entering the tower. Not that I'm excited or anything, not unduly. 12 help. 12 help her if she's mentioned anything embarrassing. Alright, Cass is waiting, let's head to the tower. I don't want to run. Keep. I wonder why that district is called Solution 9. The dude is already stacked up probably on the new glamour. Huh. There you are. If Queen Sween has registered you as guest, you should be able to march right in. And if she hasn't, then you may have a swarm of Zoralja's minions to deal with. Nothing for it but to see if Sween has betrayed us, eh? Thank you for your diligent service, friends. My companions and I would like to pass, if you'd be so kind. Outrunner guide unit identified. Registration number verified. 6 accompanying civilians identified. Verifying credentials. Credentials verified. Welcome guests of Queen Sween. What a relief. There we have it. It seems that Queen was true to her word. Follow me, everyone. Solution 9 awaits. Let's see. There must be some kind of cutscene. Man, it looks fucking depressing and dark outside. It's like, you know, scenes from The Matrix, where you see the machine city, how it is outside. Also pretty depressing in here.
Everkeep. A tower of electrope piercing a perpetual shroud of storm clouds. Occupying the 9th level of this 12-tiered structure is a residential district called Solution 9. In so naming their home, what hopes did its founders harbor for it? And did it prove the answer they sought?
Spectacular, isn't it? There are more districts throughout the tower, including industrial ones, but Solution 9 is the largest.
Just being here makes my head spin.
Perfectly natural reaction. A city of shimmering electrope, replete with strange technologies that cater to every conceivable need. We never dreamed the life back home in Tuliolo. Now, while I go and explain the situation to those in the back room, why not take a moment to explore? I believe lived experiences are far more educational than dry explanations. And you want to know more about Sween and Zoralja's dominion, do you not?
We need a cyberpunk soundtrack playing here. You had me at Explore.
I had a feeling you'd be keen.
Just to confirm, while we have been allowed inside, are we also permitted to roam?
Absolutely. As Sween's registered guest, you'll find you're exempt from the sentry scrutiny. The elevator to the uppermost level. I wouldn't go near that. But other areas should be fine provided you act like you belong.
All right then, we'll show ourselves around.
Yes. Familiarizing ourselves with the technology here will help us prepare for the battles to come.
Try not to enjoy yourselves too much, or you're liable to attract attention.
Once you've explored to your satisfaction, come to the entrance to True View in the eastern sector. The way from there is a little complicated, so I'll send someone to guide you.
Understood. We'll see you later.
You know what this reminds me of? I don't know why, but like
I shall speak with the residents. Perhaps one of them will recognize the earring.
has this like a Star Warsy feeling to it. Like Nar Shaddaa, but a bit brighter with neon.
What's with this place? How can this all be the inside of a tower?
So, what aren't you telling me? Where are you?
That, I can't reveal yet. Precautions, you understand. Just know that I'm safe. But come, tell me about your adventurer friend. You seem to have a great deal of faith in him. You must have been through a lot together.
You might say that. For instance, we found the entrance to the Golden City.
Wait, what? You did? Elnespir, why didn't you mention this sooner?
You want to explore together? It's not that I'm scared or anything. Everything is just so different from home is all.
Tower's inside a tower. I see it, but I still can't believe it. And for now, say we proceed straight ahead. If we feel like we're getting lost, we can always turn around and go back the way we came. True. I blew quest already. Crossroads already. This place is too much. I have no idea where I should go. Right. I've made up my mind. Let's go head to that building there.
Lamati!
Spina herself.
XIV!
I was worried you might have had trouble at the checkpoint, but I see everything went according to plan.
Well, that's thanks to you.
Now, I know you've scarcely arrived, but I have a request to make of you.
Oh, a request, you say?
Yes, an important one. I'll say it plain. I want you to make peace with Zeralja.
What? I thought you said you weren't on his side.
We have come no closer to seeing eye to eye, nor do I condone his methods. Be that as it may, I don't want you to fight him. I don't want you to regret a decision made in anger and haste. Unequipped with regulators as you are, the risk is too great.
I appreciate your concern, but you asked the impossible. Zeralja murdered our father. His minions slaughtered our countrymen. He will never renounce his war. As vow of resolve, it falls to me to stop him. I know you love your people too, and so you must understand how I feel. Why I cannot, will not back down.
I do understand. All too well. Let me say only this, then. Zeralja will use any means to win. If you would protect your people, return to them at once and prepare. Prepare as best you can. It may ring hollow coming from the queen of an enemy nation. But, unlike me, you still have the power to determine your own fate.
You really are a curious one. Look, you needn't worry for us. We have dependable comrades holding the fort in Tulihyolal. They'll keep everyone safe, so we can devote our attention to affairs here.
Please.
I won't yield on this either.
So you have comrades on whom you can rely. I envy you.
You know, we'd like to learn more about you.
About me?
To be frank, we're still not sure whether or not you're trustworthy. So, if you have a moment, would you show us around the district? That way, we can get to know you better.
You're asking me, the Queen, to show you around? Oh, but I jest. I'm flattered that you've taken an interest in me. Very well. I shall be your guide. You're my guests, after all, and teaching you about my realm would be a pleasure in and of itself. If you like, I can introduce you to my citizens, too. I consider them family, as you do yours.
By all means. We're in your capable hands.
That you are. This will be an enjoyable and enlightening tour, I promise.
Alright, on this note, I'm gonna take a break. Take a break for now. I know, I will probably stream a little bit later today. The other part of this quest.